Welcome back to Kiesel News, everybody. To start today off, we have news on a new Batman animated series, Batman Caped Crusader, which is that it's going to be set in the 40s. Now, I think it's funny that they're releasing this almost immediately after X-Men 97 comes to an end, or at least a couple months, but they clearly didn't want to compete with another animated series in the superhero genre. But to be honest, this will probably be way better than anything even in the DCU, because I find that animated projects in the superhero genre never miss, like at all. I haven't seen X-Men 97, but I think a benefit that the animated series have is that they're not locked to a 3 hour time frame where you have to have a main villain and three major acts and all that. With this series, you can do short little bits with a larger variety of characters, so then having a lot of variety gives you a lot more freedom each episode, and means that if one episode flops, then another one could still grab you. So that's, I think, why the animated series will always have more broad appeal overall, and it'll be looked at more fondly. Aside from obviously huge movies, like obviously Avengers Endgame is probably going to be looked at more fondly than X-Men 97 at the end of the day. Okay, X-Men 97 is a bad example because people actually like it, but it'll be looked at more fondly than the What If Happy Hogan Stole Christmas episode. Also, let's not forget that the series aren't bound to a universe, so that's why you can do a 40s period piece like this. I'm actually considering watching this. Next up, we have news that a Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory reality TV series is gonna be coming. Now, this will be something in the vein of Squid Game, most likely, which was also made by Mr. Beast, just like a Willy Wonka one was. So, what do you do in Netflix? Mr. Beast gets a show for Prime. Are you gonna copy that too? I mean, obviously, you can't get too mad at them because Mr. Beast doesn't own the Willy Wonka or Squid Game IPs, so it's not like he has complete copyright ownership over the idea. But it is something to think about. What if Netflix tries to make their own knockoff version of whatever Mr. Beast's Prime show ends up being? But as for the Willy Wonka one, I guess we'll see how similar it ends up being to Mr. Beast. It could just be entirely different. It could blow Mr. Beast out of the water. But for some reason, I doubt it. I honestly think Mr. Beast will be of higher quality. Getting back to the superhero genre, there's actually quite a bit of news. First up, being that the X-Men movie is close to finding a writer. Now, that's actually kind of crazy, because the X-Men movie hasn't even been formally announced yet, and Marvel constantly announces shit like 25,000 years in advance. The X-Men movie will likely come before Secret Wars, so why did they announce Secret Wars and not the X-Men movie? Unless the X-Men movie will come after, but anyways, the writers that are in the finalists include the one that was behind the Wheel of Time, Rafe Judkins, and the one that was behind Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, at least the movie, Michael Leslie. Now, if Wheel of Time doesn't interest you, Rafe Judkins also wrote the Uncharted adaptation, uh, and Michael Leslie wrote Macbeth and Hamlet adaptations. So I think overall, it seems like Michael Leslie would be the better pick. Not necessarily for Hamlet or Macbeth, but for Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. That is if the movie was good, as I haven't even seen the movie. Maybe the book is just like 10,000 times better, which is probably the case because the other Hunger Games movies, I preferred the books a million miles away. But the movies still weren't bad, so I doubt Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes was terrible. Although Uncharted does feel more like a Marvel movie, so depending on if you want a more typical Marvel movie or something more experimental, you may or may not prefer Rafe Judkins. Now for some Fantastic Four castings, we have Ralph Ineson as Galactus. Now I know everyone wanted Giancarlo to be playing Galactus, but that shit's not happening, man. We already knew that. Looking at his filmography here, he's been in Harry Potter, Guardians of the Galaxy, Last Jedi, Ready Player One, The Green Knight, The Northman, Tragedy of Macbeth. We can look, guess who's back? The Creator. I know no one went to go see it, but overall, pretty good filmography. I think he could do a good Galactus, but he was in Brahms the Boy 2, this super low budget horror movie that I watched, and that movie was fucking ass. So therefore, he should be banned from acting ever again, no joke. Now, we don't know who he's playing, but we know that John Malkovich is going to be in the Fantastic Four. I can see this a mile away. Not as a specific character, but just when I think of Fantastic Four, I think of John Malkovich. I don't know why. It's not like he's known for comic book movies by any means. He's known for more traditional movies. But one in particular is he's going to be in that 100 Years movie. You know, that movie that's releasing in 2115? Yeah. So his legacy will for sure be cemented by that alone, but along with his fucking years and years of acting. So he'll definitely do a good job with whoever he plays. We just don't know who. Next up, we have the confirmation that a Poppy Playtime movie is in the works. This is hilarious, as I could totally see this going the exact same route the FNAF movie does, where a game comes out, it's super popular, and then it just gets stuck in development hell for decades and decades and decades and decades, as FNAF was, because, you know, FNAF was obviously in hell for decades. It was really only 6 years or so, but it felt like way longer. However, I doubt this movie will even make it out of development hell, because at least FNAF maintains some level of popularity, but I doubt Poppy's Playtime will still be popular by the time this comes out. It has survived quite well so far with each new chapter, but it will not do as well as FNAF. Now to talk about two stories relating to AI once again. OpenAI is gonna announce their Google search competitor next Monday. So that is this coming Monday by the time I'm recording this. Now, this is just the announcement, so it'll be nothing concrete, I'm sure, but this will just be a disaster no matter what it is. It's fucking ChatGPT. It does not have the capability to be a better search engine than Google. I know everybody's hating on Google right now. I honestly don't know why. I haven't encountered any issues with Google. It's still as reliable as it's ever been. And people are shitting on Google like, oh, I never get the right results. Well, ChatGPT isn't gonna do any fucking better. Sure, it'll probably do better than writing an essay for you, but why downgrade at all when you could just use Google anyways? Next, fucking game companies are in such hot water right now. We got Xbox drama, fucking it's a disaster. And now EA is wanting to use AI in over 50% of their video games. What the fuck, man? Just fucking purge AI. Can we get a fucking AI purge? I'm so sick of it. Now, if they're just gonna use it to like generate some shitty design concepts and then they're gonna elaborate on them, then okay, that's fine. You're not really taking away anyone's jobs there. But if they're gonna fucking use AI to come up with story ideas, to just straight up rip out character designs, then fuck you once again, EA. At this rate, the gaming community might have to pull a Helldivers, but for the entire industry at this point. I want to end off by giving a shout out to Dunkey, though, for starting a new indie company and releasing their first game, Animal Well. If there's one thing that isn't corrupt in the game industry, at least entirely, it's indie games. And I'm glad to see Dunkey take a shot at publishing. And it's great to see how fucking successful it is, too. It's at the top of the Steam charts. I can only hope it stays there. Hey, maybe that's what we need to do, guys. In order to show all these big corporations that they're making the wrong choices, just maybe stop buying their games for like a day. We just have a day where only indie games can be bought. So then they look at the charts and they're like, oh, people like these indie games that are actually good. Maybe we should make games like that. That's my solution right there.